we go with a full review video of the Topo Specter 2. Here we go, the sophomore edition to Topo's super speedy lineup as far as road shoes go. Oh man, Topo known for that big, wide open toe box, that nice secure midfoot, that nice heel, and that kind of on the low side drop, in this case is 5 millimeters. First and foremost, gotta say, very excited about this shoe. It kind of exceeded my expectations, just so you know. Full transparency, Topo did send me this shoe, but they did not get a chance to review this video before you guys did, so you get my full and honest opinion. Here we go with the Topo Specter 2. These laces are a lot thicker than I expected for a kind of a tempo day, speedy, almost a race day shoe here on the channel. It's a lot of length. Look at this, man. That is so much lace going on. I don't know if we need that much, but it's there, and it's nice, and it's well padded, and it works well with this nice eyelet chain. This is a graduation from the one previous as far as the Specter V1, and we can do a comparison video later on, upper right hand corner, if and when I do make that video. All right, take a look. There's not a lot of scrunching and bunching of the eyelet chain as the material comes together as far as this upper goes, which are really happy to report that. Not a lot of material as far as extra security and extra durability processes with the eyelet chain, like you see in a lot of other daily trainers, but I'm not going to have many concerns with this as far as durability goes, because it just seems like a nice solid amount of material as far as the eyelets go. Again, flat laces that do lay nicely across the top of the foot, but I did notice as I was lacing up that there was a tendency to have these kind of twist and turn, and if you're anything like me, that just drives me bonkers. So not a big deal, but just wanted to mention that here. So like the original Specter 1, you have these lace stays that attach to the tongue. It's a little bit of material on the B-roll there on your screen. You can kind of see what I'm talking about, but it keeps that tongue from migrating left and right. And now moving on to the tongue. The tongue is not exactly the thinnest tongue, and it doesn't scream performance like some of the other speedy shoes out there, but I think this is more of a training speedy shoe, so they're going to give you a little bit more in terms of long runs and extra distance as far as the comfort goes, and I did feel that out there on the runs as far as the comfort with the Specter and the tongue. All right, now you'll notice that it doesn't exactly protrude a ton, and it's not super stretchy going towards the top of the foot, just in front of the ankle, and that's okay. The material here that you can see, it actually feels quite good. It's nice and supple. They're, you know, not really causing a lot of rubbing or friction and everything. I've learned in my day, I'm 42 years old, that I don't wear those no-show socks anymore because shoes cut into me, but you know, I was wearing these with some no-shows earlier and didn't have any issues, and there you go. So this is not a gusseted tongue. You know, you might not be able to see here on your B-roll there on your screen, you can see kind of the inside of the shoe, and it's not exactly the widest tongue either on the upper north here or towards the bottom, and it did have a tendency, at least for me when I was putting it on, to kind of roll inward and, you know, kind of sit a little bit funky on the foot, especially towards the bottom here. So I did have to kind of adjust that, but once it was nice and flat, it did lay nicely, and it didn't migrate a single bit once the laces were gone and off to the races, right, with that runner's loop here, which definitely aided in the fit of the shoe and the lockdown of the shoe. This shoe, the Specter 2, had one of the best lockdowns for me in 2024. Saying it right now, this is a contender for one of the best lockdowns here on the channel. Man, oh man. Now, as far as ventilation of the tongue, it's not a ton. It's actually quite a thicker material, but again, it's very comfortable. Okay, moving on to the actual upper. This is a redesign from before. It feels It feels a lot like the Atmos, but just a single layer of the material. And you know what? We're gonna bring it out. Look at the two uppers. It's like a very much more ventilated upper as far as the material goes versus the V1. And I gotta say, this is a very, very comfortable upper. It's a lot softer than the V1. It's just nice as it lays across the top of the foot. And you know, we talked about the toe box, but we're gonna talk about it again. Just as it, you know, envelops these toes and just gives them so much space. There's a lot more structure up here than the V1. And it just feels so much better as far as just, you know, allowing those toes to splay out and giving that big toe especially room to operate and drive the rest of the foot through the gait cycle. And it's not, you know, being shoved one way or the other way. It's just allowed to do its thing. And that's exactly what it does here. All right. And I know that there is a little bit of back and forth about the natural toe box shoes and non-natural toe box shoes, if that's the way we're going to call it. You know, as far as like lockdown and everything, but I think that Topo definitely is onto something, that allowing that big toe to line up with the rest of the foot as it wants to, because we're all built different. I think that it actually might actually for the long run make for a better, more speedy, safer, healthier experience for the runner. All right, and I'm just gonna put it out there now because I definitely felt it. I just felt, you know, that my foot was allowed to travel as it was intended, and I am super happy to report that. I digress. It's a very nice upper. It's a very well ventilated upper. It's super duper comfortable, and it's not loosey-goosey. It actually has quite a bit of structure. And speaking of structure, when I had the runner's loop on and when I had the shoe on, you can kind of see this overlay material here as it wraps around and tucks to the runner's loop here from the back. Once this was engaged, I felt something, and then I figured it out. It's this J shape of equalization of pressure that kind of rises up from the bottom and works its way towards the eyelet chain across the top of the midfoot, and again bringing the shoe up from the bottom towards the runner's arches and just filling in so nicely. It's not like we're just going to be tight here and we're just going to be tight here and then the rest is just not to be spoken about, but it's a very in sync shoe as far as the hind foot of the shoe in terms of its lockdown. So it feels very well connected to the user, very much an extension of your foot as you're going through the gait cycle, and again just allowing those toes to do what they were meant to do all along. So excellent job, Topo, excellent job. All right, so getting my hand into the actual heel collar, you know, it's just a really nice material. You know, I pulled out the Topo Atmos a minute ago. Just the material going on in the back of the heel counter here as it touches the foot, I mentioned it earlier, it's just a really nice memory foam mattress material, and you almost get a little bit more of it. And it's again not a huge cavern. In fact, it's hardly anything at all, but the heel just you know, just goes in there just a smidge and everything. But then you have this nice flare of this material up and around and over the top of the heel bone, and it just pushes in and works with the rest of the shoe to just bring it in, and it's not a forced issue. Again, it feels just supernatural. It's just a very, very nice feeling. And then of course the lateral medial side around the ankle, same thing. You know, it kind of seamlessly works its way towards the bottom, and you can kind of feel, you know, where the upper is a bit thinner here on the bottom, and that's okay. You know, the intention of the shoe is for a little bit more speedy and lightweight. So I get it. I'm totally with you, Topo. I'm tracking. All right, and then pulling out the insert. This is an Ortholite insert. It's a little bit thinner. I believe this is 5 millimeters, if I'm not mistaken, of an Ortholite insert, and there's a nice arch that is happening within the Topo Specter 2, and it's a little bit more aggressive, if you want to call it that, than the Topo Specter 1. All right, and I believe that it actually does a good job as far as working with the shoe and the rest of the features I mentioned earlier in order to secure it to your foot and create a very nice fit. All right, and just kind of looking inside, you can kind of see there the B-roll. You know, there's quite a bit of inlay within the shoe that creates a cage-like effect around the foot, you know, especially towards the midfoot, as you can see there. And then there's tons of daylight going through there. I can see the camera very well through the ventilation here of the shoe. So man, oh man, Topo, you got yourself a banger right here. Banger for sure. All right, so let's pop this bad boy in the scale and find out how much we weigh. All right, my men's size 11 is 9.2 ounces. Woo, that is a lightweight shoe. Hello. Okay, the moment we all been waiting for. The stack height is 37 and 32 for a 5mm drop of the Topo Specter 2. This is a 100% Pebax powered midsole, and man, oh man, have they made a quantum leap as far as jumps go for this from the V1. As far as just that really nice material, this energy return, I felt it on the flats. This shoe is a very comfortable shoe as far as going downhill. You know, didn't have a ton of feedback as far as that goes, and then even going uphill, you can definitely feel whatever energy you put in, you get out. The V1, I said it was a lot of honest feedback, meaning you didn't get a ton of energy return. This one is different. It is loud and proud as far as the energy return goes. The ride of this shoe is going to be a contender for 2024. I'm putting it on the list, people. This shoe right here is definitely going to be, you know, fighting for the 2024 top shoe position. I'm telling you. Oh man. And so you've got this lovely heel bevel here. I mean, look at that. I did try some heel landing, some heel striking out there. It didn't feel great as a heel striker shoe. I'm just going to tell you that right now. But it definitely felt good as far as that midfoot strike and a little bit of that forefoot business for some up-tempo work, you know, kind of moving and grooving out there on the streets of my neighborhood. This is just such a lovely midsole. Let's do a durometer check and just see what we're looking at as far as softness goes. Yeah, and before I forget, this is 2mm more than the V1 in terms of stack height, so you get a little bit more of that Peba deliciousness in this one right here. Around the big toe, we're looking at 24. Medial heel, we're looking at 31. Underneath the fifth toe, 26. And just outside the heel on the lateral side, 22. And just for giggles, the outsole is measuring at 38. A plateless Pebax powered midsole for the Topo Specter 2. The ride on this shoe is excellent, guys. I'm telling you, it is buttery smooth out there on the streets. You're gonna like this one. And next up, we're gonna talk about the outsole. For the outsole, you get 3mm of rubber in the back and then 2.5mm of rubber in the front. Strategically placed to accept the impact where needed and really protect this, you know, probably pretty delicate Peba outsole, this Peba midsole. And already you can kind of see some of it breaking down right here. As you know, I'm a bit of a supinator. Again, the durability here, I'm not expecting a ton and hundreds of miles for the Specter 2. It's more of a race day shoe. It's more of a speedy shoe. It's more of a tempo, you know, getting some fast long runs. I'm not gonna ding the durability here. I just think it's a really fun shoe. The traction was fantastic. The cornering on your screen now, you can see me taking some sharp corners. It was race car suspension locked in. There was zero sliding around. I felt super confident going around the corners in the shoe. And so the price is $165. So, you know, that's quite comparable to a lot of the trainers out there, and it's a lot less, if I might say, than a lot of the super trainers. Even some of the plateless super trainers that are out there are way more expensive than this. So I think Topo has the price dialed in for what I would consider a very generous amount of Peba very generous amount of speed and just excitement going on with this shoe. I think that they have the price right for it. All right, and there you have it, the full review of the Topo Specter 2. All right, I hope that you found value in this video. If you did, please give me a like and feel free to subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate it on the channel here. I'm a dad, I like running shoes. Oh man, I just love talking about this stuff. And over here, it's about family and coffee and running shoes. All right, you got family here, Dad. You got some Black Rifle CAF coffee here, and of course, oh so fun running shoes. Thank you so much. We have a lot of fun down here. Join us down here on the channel. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you in the next one.